We begin with two men we're learning are charged with capital murder tonight, accused of killing a 12-year-old girl and leaving her body in a creek.
Fox 26's Jonathan Mejia is joining us live in North Houston with the latest on this story we're continuing to cover. Jonathan.
Houston police sharing more details about the horrific scene they found here near the creek, where they found 12-year-old Jocelyn, her dead body in a creek. Now we know that two Hispanic men are being charged with capital murder.
Hearing that the gentlemen that were in these surveillance videos, that they have been found and they've been caught and they've been taken in for questioning, it was the greatest news to hear this morning, to be woken up with.
The last few days have been surreal for Alexis Nungary and her family. Her 12-year-old daughter, Jocelyn, was strangled and her body left in the creek.
It's just like, still just doesn't register. Just, I can't believe it's her. And, you know, it'll take some sinking in.
In a multi-division operation led by Houston police, 21-year-old Johan Jose Rangel Martinez and 26-year-old Franklin Jose Peña Ramos, both Venezuelan natives, are now charged with capital murder.
Charges have been filed. Now we want the justice system to do its job. If there was ever a circumstance where you do not give someone bail, this is it.
Investigators did not go into specifics on how the suspects and Jocelyn met or how Jocelyn died, only offering that those details are still being investigated, but they have submitted for a sexual assault kit to be completed.
Suspects seen meeting the victim and talking for a few minutes while they were on Kirkendall. Later, the suspects and the victim walked together to a convenience store. After a few minutes, all three together walked to a bridge where ultimately Jocelyn was murdered.
Police say the men have been cooperative, and so has the family of Jocelyn's 13-year-old boyfriend, who was the last to speak to her on the phone. Alexis says if she could have that night back, she would have hugged her daughter and never let go.
I would have stayed up with her. I would have just lacked sleep. I would have gave her the biggest hug. And I just probably wouldn't have let go.
We're waiting on Houston police to release an updated photo, the booking photos of the two men, so that we can bring you those updated images both on air and online at fox26houston.com. As for the immigration status of those two, we have reached out to Homeland Security to get confirmation if they're undocumented or not. I'm live in North Houston. Jonathan Mejia, Fox 26 News.
Still so many questions, Jonathan. Thanks for that report. You can stay up to date on this.
Keep that in mind. Keep that in mind, what actually happened, what actually went down. Migrant, illegal, charged with murder of 12-year-old Jocelyn, was released into the United States just a couple weeks ago. 12-year-old girl. A devastating, insane story. And then we get to, you know, the race baiting grifters. These people that, like, pry off of your inconvenience, actual horrors that happen in your neighborhood. And if you have any problems with the ideas of these kind of people being released near you and in the United States, they laugh at it. Watch her laugh about this story, because they're going to show a couple of pictures. They'll show a picture of how each news station is addressing the legal immigration problem. They're going to show 3 different screens. And they're going to laugh about the girl at the bottom, because they're going to see this story is purposely made to make you not like migrants. Like this story. Not like illegal immigration. They're more concerned about the narrative than the actual story. Okay, so watch this and pay attention very closely, because I think these people are absolutely insane. I hate this kind of crap. And these people are like, this is why I don't have any respect for Joy Reid or anybody on MSNBC or any news agency in general. And most of them are just fake news anyways, because they see a real story like this and then they try to create and spin the narrative to go against right-wingers or something like that. Watch this.
Great citizens.
But there's a lot of fear mongering.
There's a lot of fear mongering. Absolutely.
You know, and I think it's kind of remarkable that the polls I look at, the national polls, actually Americans still support immigrants. They support immigration. It's just that they would like to see a system that actually works and that can keep them safe and secure. And all of us want that. And, you know, I've been working on this issue for 20 years since before I came to Congress in the streets as an activist.
Let me show you this is one of the reasons that people have these sort of thinking. Here's the three cable networks reporting carefully. This was our banner said, soon Biden announces legal protections for undocumented spouses of U.S. citizens. CNN's banner said, Biden announces new protections for some undocumented spouses. Here was Fox's banner, migrant arrested for raping 13-year-old New York City.
Yes.
And so I think that's part of the problem, right?
Exactly.
Is that you have
that's
a lot of fear-mongering.
Exactly. And we know that when people have economic insecurity.
Great. Citizens.
What? Look at this story. Oh, it's hilarious when 12-year-olds get murdered. It's hilarious. What? Also, what are these polls? I hate when people say words like the overwhelming majority of polls. What polls? I'm not going to state these polls. They're just obvious among Americans. Anyone with 2 brain cells believes all polls. And if I say the word polls, you know that I mean business. And it's business time around here. She's more concerned about the messaging of it than the actual crime. What? And yes, this is an outlier. It's not 100% of these people, but it's also not 100% of them aren't just good people looking for jobs. Can we agree on both of those things? They're not just all great people, and that if you have any kind of hesitation for people just willy-nilly walking across the border, you don't have to be a white-wing conspiracy theorist, racist, or whatever crap words they want to use to push down your throat. That maybe that we should take these things seriously. That we should take the fentanyl pouring across the border. We should take the people that are doing illegal acts and heinous crimes. Maybe we should do that. No. How dare you push this kind of right-wing extremist narrative? It's idiotic. I mean, I just want to watch this one more time. I mean, it's just the most insane thing ever. Listening to her laugh about Fox News going with that story. It's just, these people are the worst people on earth.
But there's a lot of fear mongering.
There's a lot of fear mongering. Absolutely.
You know, and I think it's kind of remarkable that the polls I look at, the national polls, actually Americans still support immigrants. They support immigration. It's just that they would like to see a system that actually works and that can keep them safe and secure. And all of us want that. And, you know, I've been working on this issue for 20 years since before I came to Congress in the streets as an activist.
Let me show you in the streets as an activist. Hey, Queen. In the streets as an activist. I've been in the streets. I'm a bit of an expert, so don't question any of these words that I use, like polls or overwhelming majorities and stuff like this. But it just keeps getting worse.
This is one of the reasons that people have these sort of thinking. Here's the three cable networks reporting of this. Our banner said, soon Biden announces legal protections for undocumented spouses of U.S. citizens. CNN's banner said, Biden announces new protections for some undocumented spouses. Here was Fox's banner, migrant arrested for raping 13-year-old New York City.
Yes.
And so I think that's part of the problem, right?
Exactly.
Is that you have
That's part of the problem.
Exactly.
The problem is that you're reporting on real information. They could all be true. But to laugh about this, I hope this is the last thing that happens to you. And maybe I give you the benefit of the doubt. You were nervous and you didn't know what to think and you just came off with the laughter. But I'm not going to give you that because I think you are a horrible human being. Me and my gated community were just fine. Why do these people are so mad about these migrants? What? You think they're going to take their jobs? These people think that like all these people coming across the border are just going to be like cleaning their homes for them. At the same time, they try to push Americans higher wages for lower income, like minimum wage, push it up $30, $40 an hour. Okay. Now watch Janet freaking Yellen talk about what her main concern is with the border. This is the same day. So it's at least, I love the fact that this happened on MSNBC. That this happened on MSNBC. Their viewers are going to have to wrestle morally about weather pressure system over here. And then we have a child being killed in RAPED by a migrant. Just good people looking for work, folks. Okay, now here's Janet Yellen, our economic advisor, Miss Mushroom herself.
Wondering, though, isn't the better solution, and maybe it addresses what you're doing here, Secretary, to just shut down the border entirely? Just lock it down. That's what Donald Trump wants to do. What do you say?
Well, my concern today is with fentanyl trafficking, drug trafficking, and I'd say
but if it's shut down, you know what I mean, Secretary? If it's shut down entirely, then there goes the trafficking.
If it's shut down, well, look, the most impactful tool we have is to put in place sophisticated drug detection equipment. And that's what President Biden has done.
We're good at drug detecting here in America. We're real good at it. We're dropping it down. Scar the cat says, yes, throw her in a low-income neighborhood and see what she thinks after. Exactly. You won't catch any of these multimillionaires in a low-income neighborhood that you and I live in. You know, the ones that we have to fight for the same jobs for, that our kids that are trying to go up in the system, they're like, hey, I don't have any job history and I need a job. And they're like, well, this migrant will do it for half of what you are worth. So why would I pay you, stupid white person? And you're going to come up in here and say this crap to me in my face? So just keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. Stories like this that are happening to migrants or people that are taking advantage of a system, potential cartel, people coming fresh out of prison. We don't know these things. We don't know anything about them. Stories like this that have happened, a good amount, too many to be exact. They don't care about that. Just like they don't care about the fentanyl addiction and the people dying on their streets. They don't care. They don't care because it's more important that their side wins, and it's more important to just be like, these right-wing extremists. Let's not actually address any of these issues or talk honestly, but they matter to us because a lot of us don't actually live in these gated communities like they do. A lot of us don't have private security walking around like they do. You know, you peons, you can't have the private security in the gated communities like us. What are you freaking out about? You'll be just fine. Yes, he's wearing a Garfield t-shirt. He's totally cute, and he's wearing a children's t-shirt to attract minors. He's a good guy. Let him come in. Give him a job. We need to get these people working because white people aren't having enough babies. He doesn't even have a shirt on. No shirt, no shoes, no service. God, I hate these people so much. I hope this is the last thing that happens to her. Like, I hope that she never gets to run again and that whoever comes up against her just plays this clip over and over again. I'll always keep that in mind. These people, they don't care about you. They don't care about your problems. They just want to keep pushing the narrative and continue to rake in and get richer and richer and richer. Like, that's all they care about. It's like, when you keep that in your mind and your perspective, these people make sense because they're psychopathic, narcissistic, evil human beings. Yes, I can't believe Fox News is running with that headline. It's obviously fake news. It's Fox News.